Hiya. So I was just on Meat of the Matter podcast. We decided to cut it a little bit short. We did a bit of talking, but I had some audio issues. I don't know what was going on. So we decided we'll pick it back up again on Sunday. But there's something that I really like, this kind of burning thing that's going on that I want to talk about. And it's this idea of cheating on keto. And I think there are many sort of keto coaches, influencers, and so on, that give the impression that they have got the perfect diet, and they never tempt to buy anything, and they never have any alcohol or bread or sweets or whatever. And I'm sure there are some that are like that. In fact, I know one specifically that is like that. But I think most of us, once we get to a place where we are, fit and well, metabolically flexible and healthy where we want to be with our weight and our health and so on, that from time to time we will have something a little bit different. So as you know, I was on the road until quite recently. I'm kind of paused at the moment because I've been in a car crash. And so I'm just finding it a bit challenging to get the car fixed. And so I'm kind of in one spot. But I was in France, and in this spot where I stayed in France for a little while, there was the Lindor chocolate factory, and I thought, well, that's like, one of my favourite chocolates from the past, and I thought I'll go and have a little look. It was a massive shop, there was tons of stuff. And I was like, in the end, what am I going to get? I don't know. So I just got like this little gift box thing that had 6 of these Lindor chocolates in it. And as I was walking around with the dog in the afternoon, so I picked these things up, and then I was eating them as I was walking around, and I thought, I'm really going to pay attention to how I feel. First of all, do they taste nice? Does this kind of chocolate still taste nice to me? And then second of all, what impact is it having on my body? And so I ate them, I would say one after another, but in a space of 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. Did they taste nice? Yeah. Yeah, they did. They tasted lovely, like really, sort of melt in the mouth. How did they impact me? I wasn't sure what to expect. And so what happened? So first of all, I started out by feeling, after I'd eaten them, I started feeling this kind of surge of energy, like a sugar rush, obviously. I got this real surge of energy, and I was actually walking up a hill at that point with the dog, sort of away from this river, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm really on it. I've got loads of energy. And then, sort of walked around a little bit more after that, and I started to feel sick. I was like, I feel really nauseated. Not like I was actually going to vomit, but I felt really nauseated. And I thought, okay, that's not good. I thought I'll keep an eye on this and see what happens. I'll kind of, record it. And then I started to feel really hot, really hot. I was only wearing a thin anorak, and I wanted to take my scarf off. And I was like, I'm going to take my anorak off. I started to feel really hot. And so, continued to walk around, and again, still monitoring how I felt. And then I started to feel a little bit more tired. And then after that, I was okay. I thought, I'm going to see how I feel. I thought I'll see how I feel. It was maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought I'll see how I feel after that. Am I going to be craving sweets and chocolate and carbs after that? No, not at all. Not even slightly. So that didn't happen, which was interesting. And then I thought, I'll see how I feel the following day. Am I going to be, again, waking up starving or something like that? And I didn't. And I thought, oh, okay, well, it seems like I've, kind of got away with that. It's not something that I want to do on a regular basis, but it was quite an interesting experiment. A couple of days later, I thought, oh, okay, so it seems like I'm metabolically flexible. I think the dog wants to go and get his food one. Seems like I'm metabolically flexible, so I thought, right, I'm going to go out for dinner. I don't normally go out for dinner, or if I do, then I'll just have one course, and it will just be something, carnivore or certainly keto. And so I went to this lovely place, and I thought, treat myself. So I had a pina colada and some water. So I started out with the water, then I had a pina colada. And then after that, I ordered that was like some sort of calamari salad thing, and then after that I had the steak tartare. It came with chips. I had a few of the chips, wasn't really bothered. In fact, I left some of the steak tartare because it had some of it had too much like mustard on it. It was really mustardy. And then as part of the, you know, all-inclusive menu, there was dessert included. I was like, gosh, I don't know, don't really eat dessert nowadays. What am I going to have? So I thought, right, so I had some ice cream, and I said, you know, what's included? Whatever you want, she said. So I got like a little selection of, you know, these balls of ice cream, and she put chantilly cream on top. I didn't eat all of it, but I ate most of it. I felt like shit. I cannot tell you. I got stomach pains. I felt lethargic, doesn't even come close. So I'm sitting in this restaurant. I've got to walk back to the hotel. I left the dog in the hotel. I've got to walk about 20-25 minutes, something like that. I was like, crikey, I feel so rough. I felt unbelievably rough. Now the thing is, in the past I could have eaten all that and with no problem whatsoever. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. I would have eaten that. Maybe I would have felt a little bit like, you know, a bit stuffed, maybe a little bit, maybe under the weather from it, a little bit, you know, lethargic. I can't even tell you. Oh, I felt so rough, so rough. I don't know if it was the alcohol. I don't know if it was the amount of food that I had. I don't know if it was that, you know, the ice cream that I had at the end. Oh my God, was it a lesson for me? I was like, I am not doing that again. I think it was a combination of the alcohol, the amount of food that I ate, and then the you know, the sugary ice cream at the end of it. But oh God, I felt so rough. As soon as I got back to the room, I was like, I need to lie down. The dog was like, we're going out. I was like, we're not going anywhere. I needed to lie down. I felt so rough. I was even thinking, gosh, am I going to puke? That's how bad I felt. And I hadn't expected that. I thought, oh, you know, I'd had those, that little box of 6 Lindor chocolates a couple of days before. And I thought, well, it's fine then, you know, maybe I can push the boat out. Maybe I can try that. No, absolutely, definitely 100% cannot do that. So I went back to, you know, my normal way of eating, and I've been absolutely fine ever since. Then, since getting into Spain and since the car crash on Saturday, I've kind of been beholden to, you know, the restaurants and what there is available. And I notice here, sorry, the dog's playing up, give up, Piera. I notice here that all the food just comes with bread. Everything just comes with bread, absolutely boatloads of bread. And I'm like, okay, I haven't really been in a state to be sort of setting myself up to cook and all of that. So I've just been like, I'll just have, you know, whatever there is. Try and avoid the bread a little bit, you know, not go mad on it. But I had a day of eating some bread, not like mountains of it or anything. And then I just happened to catch myself in the bathroom mirror. It's like my stomach was huge. Now, I didn't feel terrible or anything like that from it, but my stomach absolutely ballooned out from maybe one to 2 days of eating like just some bread, not huge mountains of the stuff, and also here quite good bread as well. It's not, you know, you sort of cheap and nasty bread. It's you know, it's like the baguettes, because it's only just south of France, and it's obviously very good bread. But it's been a real eye-opener for me, because for a long time I just eat all the right stuff. I don't have alcohol, I don't have bread, I don't have desserts, or I might make my own little keto dessert now and then using dates. But yeah, it's been a real eye-opener to see how it impacts me. How I thought, oh, if I have that bit of sugar, you know, and I was fine from that, how then I think, oh, well, I can maybe have this. No, absolutely couldn't. Oh gosh, I cannot. I felt so rough. I felt so rough. It was about a week ago, was that? And then since then, having had a little bit of bread here and there, and it has just ballooned my stomach. So I've just been like, right, okay, I need to avoid that stuff as well. And it's not so much from an aesthetic perspective, although of course I don't want to be walking around looking like I'm, looking like I'm pregnant. I don't want that for myself. But it's not so much about that. It's like, if my stomach has ballooned out like that from a little bit of bread, that's my body saying, I don't want this. This is not good for you. So it's been, quite an interesting little journey the last week or two, just kind of witnessing my body as I sort of introduce like some different foods and so on, and seeing what happens. And I also think, is it that nowadays I feel so good, I feel so alive, so awake, so healthy, so on the ball, so mentally switched on, so full of energy, not falling asleep, and all of this. Is it that that's my new baseline nowadays, and when I eat things that take me below that baseline, it feels horrific? But maybe in the past that's kind of how things were for me. Maybe that's what it was like as my baseline. I think perhaps when you get a new baseline of, feeling great, feeling energized, feeling like, you can tackle the world, and then you go back to your former baseline, the comparison, the contrast between the two is probably, I don't know. I genuinely don't know if that's how I used to feel, like this rubbish feeling from, the food or the alcohol or whatever, is how I used to feel in the past all of the time. I'd be interested to know what experiences you've had if you've been doing keto for a little while, and you have decided to, try some different foods now and then, just as an experiment, or while you've been traveling and on holiday and so on. What kind of experiences you've had with that. I do see people in the group, Keto Beginners UK, that's my Facebook group. I do see people in the group from time to time say, I fell off at Christmas, or I fell off on a holiday or whatever, and I felt really, really rough, and I'm so glad to be back to it. What about you? I'd love to hear your experiences about that. So please share them, because it's also very helpful to other people as well. I also think it's very, I think we get good lessons out of these things, don't we, from time to time, when we either fall off the wagon or we do something very consciously, like I did it very consciously, and decided to be a witness to how I feel, just to to see what actually happens, and how it impacts the body, and it helps us to learn something from that in order to continue on our journey in a way that that serves us best. Yeah, but feel free to share. In fact, please do share. I really would like to hear from you, because it helps other people as well, that maybe those that are thinking of doing keto, maybe those that are thinking of going out for a non-keto meal, or what they're going to do when they go on holiday, what's it going to be like when they travel, to share experiences like that. And if you're seeing this video and you are not in the Keto Beginners UK group, if you are following keto, or trying to follow keto, or wanting just to get more information about it, and you are either a Brit abroad somewhere, or you are living in the UK, then you are very welcome. The reason that I keep it to UK people is simply because there's a lot of there's a lot of British references in there that I just don't think are appropriate for the outside world. I don't think that I want it to be a community where people get each other and understand each other. So if you're from outside the UK and you live in the UK, then you're going to get it. If you're from the UK and you live abroad, then you're going to get it. But otherwise, it's probably not the place for you. But if you are, then absolutely come on into the group. We'd love to have you.